What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. This is a video I did not expect to be recording today, but I'm very excited about it. So Pokemon.com US and also Pokemon-card.com, which is the Japanese site, both simultaneously posted spoilers for the Sword and Shield TCG set today. So this is really cool for a number of reasons. We know how VMAX is going to work now. We also have a bunch of new cards to look at. And also that Pokemon US and Japan, or I should say TPCI and Japan, they both simultaneously updated their sites and shared this news about the cards. We got spoilers at the same time, which is pretty crazy because we usually see the new cards from Japan like way ahead of time outside of Japan. Like we could see the spoilers from there because they got them way ahead of time, but that is not the case here. So this is just the page on Pokemon.com that they have for the Sword and Shield TCG, showing off some new cards and whatnot. And then also this is just the Sword and Shield page if you click by expansions. So what we know from this is that we are getting over 200 new cards in the set, including dozens of new Pokemon from the game in the Galar region. More than 15 powerful Pokemon V and 4 Pokemon V Max. And then more than 25 trainer cards and a new special energy card. So that's all really cool. And I'm just going to go over to Cerebi.net since they actually have English scans of higher quality than I can pull up from the Pokemon sites over here. So there are 19 new cards that we have translations or just the English scans for that we can look at right now, and that's what I'm going to do. So just from the top, we have Celebi V. A lot of the V cards, I should say, are kind of underwhelming, and it looks like the V Max is like where it's really at. But I also think this is really great for the game and like the power creep that happened with tag teams. But I'll talk about that after I'm done looking at all the cards. So Celebi V, 180 HP, Retreat 1. Find a friend, search your deck for 2 Pokemon, put them into your hand, and then Line Force does 50 plus 20 for each of your bench Pokemon. So you have 5 Pokemon on the bench, that's 150. So not too great, but like I said, a lot of these attacks, it seems like they're dialing back on the strength of basic Pokemon. And then just a Grookey that has a 10 and a 20 attack, nothing too crazy there. Go on to the Rillaboom or Rillaboom, 170 HP. Starting off, that's amazing for stage 2s. It has an ability, once during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 grass energy cards and attach them to one of your Pokemon, and its attack is pretty underwhelming. But that ability voltage beat is actually really cool. So I think this could potentially have some potential. Sorry, my way with words is not going to be great because I'm just kind of so hyped up from seeing all these new cards. Victini V, 190 HP. It's weird seeing a Victini with so much HP. Spreading Flames, attach up to 3 fire energy from your discard to your Pokemon in any way you like. That's pretty cool. And then Energy Burst, 30 for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. So that attack isn't like too crazy. I guess if like your opponent has a Reshizard with 4 energy and you have 2 or 3 energy on your Victini, you could do like 60 plus 120, 180, maybe 210. But also, I'm not even sure if I should be comparing this to like Reshizard or what I should be comparing it to, because like I said, the attacks of this set are looking like they're dialing back on the attack damage and increasing HPs to try to stop the one-shot meta, which I'm very happy about if that is what they're doing indeed. Just a vanilla Score Bunny, and then let's look at Cinderace. I have not looked at this one yet. Libero, once during your turn when this Pokemon moves from your bench to the active, you may attach up to 2 fire energy cards from your discard pile to it, and then its attack does 190 for 3 energy, and you discard 2. Honestly, that's like kind of solid for a stage 2. And it only has 1 retreat. It has fairly high HP. That's actually really solid. Like, you don't even have to use Welder to power this thing up. That's actually really, really solid. Okay, next we got Lapras VMAX, but let me see if they have the regular Lapras in here first. No. Okay, no English scan for the regular Lapras V, so just Lapras VMAX. So evolves from Lapras V, Gigantamax VMAX. These award 3 prize cards, which we have just learned today from these reveals. So we do know that Lapras, that VMAX cards in general will be awarding 3 prize cards instead of 2. It looks like weakness works the same. It doesn't have resistance, so we don't know about if they will have resistance or how it works. Retreat cost, 320 HP, which is kind of insane, and just 1 attack. For 3 colorless, 90. And this attack does 30 more damage for each water energy attached to this Pokemon. So if you have 3 water energy when you're swinging with this, it does 180. And I think that's like crazy balanced. Like, it's not bad, but it's balanced. Especially if you're like whacking each other with 320 HP Pokemon and you're not OHKOing each other. That just sounds like so great. Coming from our current standard format where we're trying to blow things up with a Flare Blitz for 300 on turn 2, or Double Blaze things turn 1 even. So, like, that's really, really refreshing to see. Let's see, Keldeo V, 210 HP, that's kind of high for a basic Pokemon, but like I said, these attacks are seemingly not as good as the basic Pokemon attacks we're used to in the current tag team era. So we've got Wave Splash doing 40 for 1 energy, and then Secret Sword 50 plus 30 more for each water energy. So kind of like the Lapras attack, but it's a base of 50. So Secret Sword seems really good. And like I said, the V Pokemon award 2 prizes, but VMAX award 3. We got Sobble. Okay, so all the basic starters are just 1 energy for 10, 2 energy for 20. Inteleon, let's see if Inteleon holds up to the other stage 2s. 160 HP, Shady Dealings. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 trainer cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. And then its attack does 120 and 20 to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. I kind of, like, really, really want to play in a format where this card is good. Like, where all these stage 2s are good. Because I think, like, in a Sword and Shield on format, like, these cards sound great. So I don't know if that's something we'll be getting soon, like getting rid of all the tag teams and going to this like fixed version of the game where we don't have these one-shots from all the power creep, but I'm really liking most of these cards so far. Tapu Koko V, I think we already knew about. 200 HP, no retreat cost. Spike Draw 20 and Draw 2, which is not terrible, and then Thunderous Bolt 200, and this Pokemon can attack next turn. And 200 is not, like, amazing, since VMAX Pokemon are putting that into perspective with their high HP, but 200 can also clear the board of a lot of things, but then this Pokemon can attack next turn. So I guess it would have to depend on the meta if 200 is really good. If it's better than a Full Blitz from Pika Rom, because Full Blitz is putting 3 energy onto the board as well as doing 150. We got Galarian Ponyta, which is nothing special really, but it's just showing off a new Galarian type Pokemon. Also resistance minus 30, so that looks like it's kind of going to be a uniform thing, I think. That all resistance is going to be minus 30 for Sword and Shield. Indeedee, this Pokemon I'm not even familiar with yet. I haven't gotten to it in the video game yet. But Indeedee V, 180 HP. Once during your turn, may heal 20 damage from your active Pokemon. And then Psychic, 60 plus 10 more for each. Wait, I'm sorry. 10 plus 60 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Oh, that's kind of crazy. I like that. Wow, that scales up really quickly. So if your opponent has 3 energy on them, you're swinging for 190 with this little guy. That's really, really cool. I like it. And Watch Over is a cute ability. Also, the art on all of these are pretty fantastic. Regirock V. It's interesting they're throwing Regirock into here when it is not in the Sword and Shield video games, at least at the moment, but let's look at Regirock V. Oh, we saw this one already too. I think this one was spoiled a little while ago. Raging Hammer, 30 plus 10 more for each damage counter on this Pokemon, so 220 HP. That could actually survive in this meta of pretty balanced attacks, so Raging Hammer could be good. And then Rocky Tackle, 190 for 3, and it does a little bit of self-damage. Stonejourner V. Let's look. 220 HP, 40, and then you take 20 less. And then Mega Kick, 150. Seems kind of underwhelming. I feel like it might have said somewhere that this one was getting a VMAX, but I could just be thinking that because of how underwhelming the attacks are. But 40 minus 20, 220, maybe like we'll get like a buffer tool that also stops damage. Okay, I'm really excited about these two, Zacian V and Zamazenta V. Very, very strong, but also very, very balanced, I think. So, it's a basic Pokemon, 220 HP, worth 2 prizes. Resistance is 30, yada yada, keep all that in mind. Its ability, once during your turn, you may look at the top 3 cards of your deck and attach any number of metal energy cards you find there to this Pokemon. Put the other cards into your hand. If you use this ability, your turn ends. So there's a lot of things going through my mind looking at this. You could potentially just use this as a turn 0 draw. So like on turn 0, like you're going first on your first turn, and you can't attack anyway, so you just have a Zacian V on your bench, so you can go Intrepid Sword, draw 3, end my turn. In addition to that, you could use it to accelerate some energy to Zacian, and its Brave Blade attack is very good, but it needs 3 metal energy. There's no colorless in the cost. 3 metal energy, at the moment at least, isn't something that we're normally accelerating. This could be amazing in ADP. If, of course, if ADP and Zacian V both exist in the meta at the same time. I'm not really sure if, like, this whole new balance of cards is going to, like, influence a new kind of rotation or anything. But like I said, I'll reflect on that a little bit at the end. But Brave Blade, I think, is very good. 230, and then this Pokemon can attack next turn. So 230 is knocking out a lot of opposing V Pokemon, but it's not even coming close to knocking out the V Max Pokemon. And then Zamazenta V, also really cool. 230 HP. Dauntless Shield, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon V Max. And then it's Assault Tackle, Metal, colorless, does 130. Discard a special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. At the moment, special energy isn't really too prevalent in Standard, but the Sword and Shield page on Pokemon does say that a new special energy is coming out, and maybe that new special energy is going to be like really, really good. Maybe it'll be like a double rainbow energy or something like that, and it's going to be crazy in the format, so Assault Tackle would be really good. And lastly, we've got Snorlax VMAX. So 340 HP, the art is insane. Awards 3 prizes. And it has the attack G-Max Fall, 60 plus 30 more damage for each of your benched Pokemon. So if you have 5 benched Pokemon, that's 60 plus 150, that's 210. For 3 energy. Since it is a VMAX, you could use triple colorless. That's an evolved Pokemon. But 210. I really, really like this so far. So, I I guess this was the last card on here, right? So I'll start my reflection overall on what I've seen. Let's say that we are in the near future. There is a Sword and Shield on standard format, like if that's what they're going for. Like with how much this set is changing things and how different it looks so far. I think most of these cards could really see their full potential and be in the spotlight if we had some kind of, I don't know. I'm not sure what Pokemon would really do realistically with some sort of rotation or rotating out like all the sets we currently have in the near future, or maybe like banning tag team cards in general, since they're like, I'm pretty sure, overpowered in comparison to a lot of this stuff. Or maybe you could just handle the turn 2 300s because you have a 340 HP Snorlax. I don't know. But I'm very excited about evolving, so I'll start there. I loved the initial Sun and Moon standard format when evolving Pokemon became a thing again. We got all the new GXs that a lot of them evolved. The Espeon GX, Umbreon GX, Loranis GX, Decidueye GX, a huge one. And then with Guardians Rising and Burning Shadows, we got more. The Drampagarb archetype, of course, which involved a lot of evolving because you needed your Garbodors. That sometimes used Espeon GX. And then Gardevoir GX came out, Golisopod GX. So much evolving and like slower games, or at least more skill-based games, where you had to set up a little, make decisions that mattered, decide which Pokemon was more important to evolve to, where do you allocate your energy cards, things like that. I'm very excited to see actually evolving our Pokemon again seem like a reasonable strategy. Like in the current standard format, we've got Mewtwo tag team, we've got Reshizard tag team, we've got ADP tag team, all basic Pokemon. Malamar is somewhere in there at like tier 2, but we're only evolving Malamars to just accelerate energy. Like it would be so nice to get a little bit of a slower format where we're not trying to welder for 300 on turn 2, and we actually have to evolve our Pokemon. So with the balance that I think these cards bring, or like the balance that the developers are showing here, at least with the cards we've seen so far, I think VMAX seems really balanced. I was thinking maybe it would be kind of like a level X mechanic, if any of you are familiar with level X from the Diamond and Pearl era, but it is not. But it is an evolution. We have an evolution here that makes a 2-prize Pokemon go into a 3-prize Pokemon. Huge HP buff, and the attacks completely change. I think it's great that something like this Snorlax VMAX only has the one attack. So it's not insane. One, it's not insanely versatile because it only has the one attack. Two, a nice thing to note is that Snorlax VMAXs, at least in a vacuum right now, can't one-shot each other. Unless we get some absolutely crazy buffs, like plus power that adds 50 damage, and then everything I just said goes down the drain because they unbalanced the game again. But with Gmax Fall doing a max of 210 in the standard format at the moment, as with all the information we know, I think that's really good. So you could like potentially have a Snorlax versus Snorlax where you swing Gmax Fall, they swing Gmax Fall, you heal, you aren't in 1-shot range anymore, or 2-shot range anymore, and then you swing back. So I think it's really cool that these cards don't have like an ability and 2 attacks, GX attack everything, that are making like one card, kind of, you can ride one card the whole game kind of thing. We'll look at Zem and Zeta V for the same example. It's really good against VMAX Pokemon. It only does 130. It discards a special energy card from your opponent's active Pokemon. So it swings for 130. Maybe you can take out little guys or 2-shot Vs. Probably not 2-shotting a VMAX with it. but to discard the special energy card, with that information and knowing that a new special energy card is coming out, I kind of hope that new special energy card is going to be really important and very good. And I think Xemn Z is really balanced. It has a high HP, but its attack costs 2 metal and a colorless, which isn't insanely easy to do right now unless you're using ADP as its partner. And then Dauntless Shield's really cool because we're already implementing a VMAX counter, like right off the bat in the same set that the VMAX come out. We're not waiting 4 sets to get a VMAX counter, right? Like we just have one right off the bat here, which is really nice. And yeah, so also the stage 2s. I'll mention the stage 2s. I think these stage 2s are all like pretty usable compared to most stage 2s we've seen in a while. Unfortunately, VMAXs aren't going to be stage 2s, so like I was talking about and reminiscing of Gardevoir GX and Decidueye GX being tier 1 decks and like insanely playable, and you had to get up to stage 2s for a while in standard. So we're not going to see that for the VMAXs, but I do think like you aren't going to want to face down double Cinderace on the opponent's board when you're playing with a Snorlax VMAX, right? Like, they're just going to win the prize trade if they can get 2 Cinderaces down, and then their Libero ability just excels the energy right to it, and boom, you 2-shot a Snorlax VMAX. So I do think these stage 2s have a lot of potential, and I'm really, really excited for that. And the last thing I'll touch on is that, on these cards, is that even this Pokemon, the Tapu Koko V, that looks like it's supposed to be like just a beat stick V Pokemon, like you put it down just to blow up some damage, it does 200. It one-shots itself, but it doesn't even one-shot a lot of the other V Pokemon cards we just looked at. It doesn't come close to one-shotting a Pokemon VMAX, and it barely one-shots the stage 2s, right? Like, that's kind of insane. Like, 170 HP on Cinderace, I think, this one also had 170. I think there was like a starter deck version that had 180 or something, but I digress on that. I think it's really, really good that like this Pokemon's most powerful attack doesn't one-shot like a lot of its contemporaries. Like the Regirock has 220 HP, the Stonejourner has 220 HP, the Keldeo I think has 210. Yeah, but that's weak. Okay, well, let's slap a weakness guard energy on there and we'll call it a day. So it doesn't one-shot that anymore. But my point is that the strongest attacks on these V Pokemon are not matching up to the attacks of the current standard format meta, which like I applaud Pokemon for working on trying to balance this out. So that's it. That's all I have to say about the cards. But as of like where we're going with the game and like Sword and Shield standard format, I don't think I would mind if we had like some sort of mid-season rotation where it's just like Sword and Shield on, and like so we have Sword and Shield and then like the first Sword and Shield expansion that comes out in what'll it be, May? I don't think I'd hate that just looking at these cards right now off the bat. And so I wanted to just start that discussion. I'll probably make more videos as we go on and get more information. But yeah, I just wanted to start the discussion on these new cards, how you like them, if you think they're balanced, if you think they're overpowered or just underpowered. Let's, start talking about it. It's really, really exciting to be in the Pokemon TCG at this time with these new mechanics coming out and the new Sword and Shield, so new Pokemon in general. And if you have any ideas of what you think is going to happen with the standard format, if you think there will be a rotation, banning tag teams, whatever you think, I'd love to hear it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this kind of impromptu review of the Sword and Shield cards that we've seen spoiled so far. Maybe by the time I'm done recording this video, more translations or something will even come out. But yeah, hope you liked it. If you did, subscribe to the channel for more content. Here at Celio's Network, I try to focus on competitive content, but I also am trying to work in kind of the bridge between casual to competitive, and I think that's kind of what this was. It wasn't like meta-analysis or anything. It was kind of a fun video that I really enjoyed. Like, I really enjoyed doing, so I'd like to do more kind of discussion pieces about news that we get like this in the future. Like I said, comment your thoughts on it, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.